Will you marry me? Beverly heard her boyfriend say, but to her surprise, he wasn't asking her. The words echoed through the upscale restaurant as everyone around them began to clap. Beverly's boyfriend, Marcus, was on one knee with a small velvet ring box, proposing to Kendra. Beverly's best friend since childhood. The same best friend who had cried on Beverly's shoulder just 3 months ago about being so lonely. The same best friend who Beverly had trusted with her apartment keys, her Netflix password, and apparently, her entire relationship. Kendra's perfectly manicured hand flew to her mouth in fake surprise, her eyes glistening with tears that Beverly knew were as real as her latest lace front wig. Oh my God, Marcus. Yes. Yes, of course. Beverly stood frozen, her birthday cake, because yes, this was supposed to be her birthday dinner, melting forgotten on the table in front of her. But before we continue, I want you to take a minute and smash that subscribe button. Drop a red heart in the comments if you think Beverly should get her revenge, or a fire if you're Team Chaos. Now, let's get back to this disaster. The thing about betrayal is that it doesn't hit you all at once. It comes in waves. Wave 1 was Marcus sliding that ring onto Kendra's finger, a ring Beverly had seen on his browser history 2 months ago and foolishly thought was meant for her. Wave 2 was realizing that everyone in the restaurant was looking at her with pity. They all knew. The waiters, the other diners, probably even the damn chef in the back knew that Beverly was the fool in this equation. Wave 3 was Kendra finally making eye contact with her, and instead of shame, Beverly saw something worse, triumph. Bev, Kendra started, her voice dripping with false sympathy as Marcus stood protectively beside her. We didn't want you to find out this way, but Marcus and I have been in love for months. We tried to fight it, we really did, but you tried to fight it. Beverly's voice came out eerily calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that came before a Category 5 hurricane. In my apartment. In my bed. Because I found your earring in my sheets last week, Kendra. I thought I just bought the same pair and forgot. The restaurant went silent. Even the piano player stopped mid-note. Marcus had the audacity to look uncomfortable. Bev, come on. Don't make a scene. We can talk about this like adults. Adults? Beverly laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. Adults don't fuck their girlfriend's best friend. Adults don't propose to their side chick at their girlfriend's birthday dinner. She grabbed her purse, her hands shaking with rage. You two deserve each other. Really. A cheater and a snake, it's like a match made in hell. Beverly turned to walk out with whatever dignity she had left, but Kendra's voice stopped her. At least he chose someone who could actually keep him interested, Bev. Maybe if you weren't so busy with work all the time, playing corporate boss bitch, you'd have noticed your man was unhappy. That's when Beverly saw it, her untouched birthday cake on the table. Chocolate ganache, her favorite. Without thinking, she picked it up. And threw it directly in Kendra's face. The restaurant erupted in gasps and a few barely concealed laughs. Kendra stood there, covered in chocolate, her designer dress ruined, mascara running down her cheeks. Happy fucking birthday to me, Beverly said, and walked out. Beverly didn't remember leaving the restaurant. One moment she was standing there, humiliation burning through her veins hotter than any anger she'd ever felt. The next, she was stumbling down the rain-soaked streets of Seoul in her black cocktail dress and heels, mascara running down her cheeks. Seoul. The city she'd moved to 6 months ago for a fresh start, with Marcus, leaving behind her family in Chicago and her promising career as a corporate lawyer. Marcus had convinced her it was their adventure, their future. What a fool she'd been. The November rain pelted down harder, soaking through her clothes, but Beverly didn't care. She wanted to disappear. To scream. To set the whole damn world on fire. She found herself in Itaewon, stumbling into the first bar she saw, a sleek, dimly lit lounge with red accent lighting and a thick scent of expensive cologne and whiskey. Vodka. Straight, she demanded at the bar, slamming down cash. The bartender, a young Korean man with bleached hair, looked concerned. Miss, are you? Just pour the damn drink. He obliged. Beverly threw it back, relishing the burn. Then another. And another. That's when she felt eyes on her. She turned and locked gazes with a man sitting in the corner booth, and God help her, he was beautiful. Dangerously beautiful. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that seemed to see right through her, perfectly styled black hair, and a tailored black suit that probably cost more than her rent. Their eyes held for a moment too long. And Beverly, fueled by vodka and vengeance, made a decision that would change her life forever. She walked straight to his booth. I need you to do me a favor, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. The man raised an eyebrow, a slight smirk playing at his lips. When he spoke, his English was perfect but laced with a Korean accent that sent shivers down her spine. I don't do favors for strangers. Then let me introduce myself. I'm Beverly Chen. My boyfriend just proposed to my best friend in front of me an hour ago, and I want him to feel a fraction of what I'm feeling right now. And what exactly are you feeling, Beverly Chen? Like burning the world down. His smirk widened. I like you already. Great. Then you won't mind if I do this. Beverly grabbed his face and kissed him. Not a gentle kiss. Not a sweet kiss. A claiming, desperate, furious kiss that tasted like vodka and revenge. And to her surprise, he kissed her back, deep, possessive, like he was trying to devour her whole. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Beverly noticed the entire bar had gone silent. People were staring, but not at her. They were staring at him. With fear. Do you have any idea who you just kissed? The man asked, his dark eyes glittering with amusement and something more dangerous. Beverly's vodka-soaked brain finally registered the details she'd missed, the expensive suit, the booth in the back corner with a clear view of all exits, the two large men in black suits standing near the entrance who were now watching her like hawks. Should I? She challenged, because apparently trauma and alcohol had turned her suicidal. He laughed, a low, rich sound that made her stomach flip. I'm Kong Miho. And you, Beverly Chen, just kissed the head of the Kong family in front of half of Seoul's underworld. Beverly's blood ran cold. Even she, who'd only been in Seoul for 6 months, knew that name. The Kong family. Korean mafia royalty. Untouchable. Ruthless. Oh, fuck, she whispered. Indeed, Miho said, standing up to his full height, easily 6 feet of lean muscle and danger. But you've created quite the problem for me. My enemies will think you're important to me now. Which means... He stepped closer, backing her against the booth. You're mine now, Beverly Chen. For your own protection, of course. Like hell I am, Beverly snapped, her lawyer brain finally kicking in through the alcohol. I don't belong to anyone. Not anymore. Brave words, Miho murmured, his finger tilting her chin up. But that video of our kiss? It's already going viral. Your ex-boyfriend and his new fiancée. They've probably seen it by now. Beverly's eyes widened. She pulled out her phone with trembling hands. 67 missed calls. 143 text messages. The top one from Marcus, Beverly, what the fuck is this? Below it, a video link. She clicked it. There she was, kissing Kong Miho in crystal clear HD, the video already at 2 million views with the caption, Kong Miho's mystery woman, who is SHE? Oh my god, Beverly breathed. Don't worry, Miho said, his voice dark silk. I'll protect you. But everything has a price, Beverly. And you're about to learn that kissing a monster comes with consequences. Before Beverly could respond, gunshots shattered the windows. Miho moved like lightning. 1 second Beverly was standing, the next she was on the floor with Miho's body covering hers, his hand protecting her head. Glass rained down around them as more gunshots peppered the bar. Stay down. Miho commanded, his voice sharp and authoritative. Beverly's legal training had prepared her for courtrooms, not combat. She pressed herself flat against the floor, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might burst from her chest. She heard shouts in Korean, the sound of returning gunfire, and then, silence. Miho stood, pulling her up with him effortlessly. His suit was dusted with glass, but he was completely unharmed. The two bodyguards she'd noticed earlier were at the entrance, guns drawn, standing over 3 bodies. Beverly's stomach lurched. Are they dead? Yes, Miho said casually, brushing glass from his jacket. Welcome to my world, Beverly Chen. This is insane. I need to leave. I need to. You need to come with me. Now. His grip on her wrist was gentle but firm. Those men were from the Park family. Our rivals. They saw the video and decided you were a target. If you go home, you'll be dead by morning. Then I'll go to the police. Miho laughed, cold and sharp. The police? Half of them are on my payroll, Beverly. This is Seoul, not Chicago. Different rules. Beverly wanted to argue, but the 3 dead bodies bleeding out on the bar floor were pretty convincing evidence that she was in over her head. Fine, she said, yanking her wrist free. But I'm not your property. This is temporary protection until I can figure out how to fix this mess. Of course, Miho agreed, too easily. Temporary. But the way he smiled told Beverly she'd just made a deal with the devil. Miho's car was a sleek black Mercedes with bulletproof windows and leather seats that probably cost more than Beverly's entire wardrobe. The driver didn't speak, didn't even look at her, just drove through Seoul's glittering streets with practiced efficiency. Where are we going? Beverly demanded. My home. The Kong estate. It's the safest place in Seoul. Your home. Absolutely not. Take me to a hotel. Every hotel in this city will know where you are within an hour. Do you want to test if my enemies are faster than my security? Miho's dark eyes challenged her. You kissed me, Beverly. You made yourself part of this world. Now you have to survive it. Beverly clenched her fists. He was right, damn him. Her phone buzzed incessantly. She finally looked at the messages. Marcus, you vindictive bitch. How could you embarrass me and Kendra like this? Kendra, Bev, I'm so sorry, but Marcus and I fell in love. We didn't mean for it to happen. And now you're making everything worse with this stunt. Beverly's blood boiled. They were the victims. They were embarrassed. Then she saw a message from an unknown number. Unknown, you always were a disappointment, Beverly. Now you're a disgrace. Don't bother coming home. Dad. Her father. Of course. Judge Robert Chen, pillar of Chicago's legal community, whose approval Beverly had chased her entire life and never quite caught. Seeing his daughter kiss a known criminal on viral video must have been his worst nightmare. Bad news? Miho asked, watching her face. My father. He's not pleased. Parents rarely are when their children choose their own path, Miho said softly. There was something in his voice, old pain, maybe. Is he important to you? He was everything to me, Beverly admitted, surprised by her own honesty. I became a lawyer for him. Moved to Seoul when Marcus asked because I thought building a life with someone would finally prove to my dad that I could be successful at something. Clearly, I was wrong about everything. Miho was quiet for a moment. Then, your ex-boyfriend. Marcus. What does he do? He's a financial consultant for Chen Enterprises. Miho's expression shifted, something dark and knowing crossing his features. Chen Enterprises? Your family's company? My father's company, yes. Why? Because Marcus didn't choose your best friend by accident, Beverly. Chen Enterprises has been trying to expand into Seoul for 3 years. Kendra Park is the daughter of Park Jin-young, my biggest rival and the man who owns half of Seoul's commercial real estate. Beverly's world tilted. What are you saying? I'm saying your boyfriend didn't fall in love. He made a business decision. Marcus gets Kendra, Chen Enterprises gets Park access to Seoul, and the Park family gets connections to American money. Miho's voice was cold. You weren't betrayed by love, Beverly. You were betrayed by a merger. The words hit her like a physical blow. It was all business. Her 3 years with Marcus, Kendra's friendship, all of it, calculated moves on a corporate chessboard where Beverly was just a pawn to be sacrificed. I'm going to destroy them, Beverly whispered, and she meant it. Miho smiled, a real smile this time, sharp and approving. Now you're speaking my language. But destruction requires patience. Strategy. Power. I'm a lawyer, not a gangster. You're a woman who just kissed a mafia boss for revenge, Miho countered. You have more gangster in you than you think. The question is, how far are you willing to go? Beverly met his eyes. In them, she saw her own rage reflected back, the fury of someone who'd been underestimated, used, and cast aside. As far as it takes. Good, Miho said. Then I have a proposition for you. The Kong estate was not what Beverly expected. She'd imagined something dark and threatening, all sharp edges and cold marble. Instead, the traditional Korean Hanok-style mansion was breathtakingly beautiful, surrounded by manicured gardens and koi ponds, lit by soft lanterns that made everything glow like something out of a dream. Welcome home, Miho said as they entered. This isn't my home. It will be. For the next 6 months, at least. Beverly whirled on him. 6 months. You said temporary. Sit down, Beverly. Let me explain. They entered a study lined with books in Korean, English, and Japanese. Miho poured 2 glasses of whiskey, expensive stuff that smelled like smoke and oak, and handed her one. Your ex-boyfriend and his new fiancée are planning a wedding. 3 months from now, if my sources are correct. A massive affair, combining Chen Enterprises and Park Industries. It'll be the social event of the year. So I'm going to help you destroy it. And them. Completely. Beverly's hand tightened on her glass. Why would you help me? Because Park Jin-young has been a thorn in my side for 5 years. He controls territory I want, has alliances I need to break, and thinks he's untouchable because his daughter's marrying into American money. Miho's smile was predatory. But if I can destabilize that alliance, expose the business marriage for what it is, and humiliate him publicly, I win everything. And what do you get out of this? Besides weakening my enemy? Miho stepped closer. I get you. The woman brave enough, or crazy enough, to kiss me in front of half of Seoul's underworld. Do you know how rare that is? I was drunk. You were magnificent. Beverly's breath caught. There was something in the way he looked at her, not like Marcus had, with casual affection and hidden agendas. Miho looked at her like she was a weapon he wanted to wield. A puzzle he wanted to solve. It should have terrified her. Instead, it thrilled her. What's your proposition? She asked. Be my fiancé. Fake, of course. For 6 months. We'll let Seoul believe that Kong Miho is madly in love with the mysterious Beverly Chen. We'll attend every important event, make Marcus and Kendra squirm, and gather information on Park Jin-young's business dealings. You'll use your legal expertise to find weaknesses in their corporate structure, and when the time is right, we'll strike. And after 6 months, you'll have your revenge, I'll have Park's territory, and you can walk away with your dignity restored and enough dirt on your ex to bury him forever. It was insane. Dangerous. Everything Beverly's careful, controlled life had never been. I have conditions, she said. Miho's eyebrow rose. Of course you do. No real romance. This is business. I'm not interested in being anyone's girlfriend, real or fake, in any emotional sense. Agreed. I want access to all information about Marcus and Kendra. Everything your people find. Done. And I want to learn how to defend myself. If I'm going to be in your world, I'm not going to be helpless. Miho's smile turned approving. I'll train you myself. Anything else? Beverly thought of her father's message. The disappointment in those words. The way he'd so easily believed the worst of her. I want to prove I'm not a disappointment, she said quietly. I want to show everyone who underestimated me exactly who Beverly Chen really is. Then we have a deal. Miho extended his hand. Beverly shook it, feeling the calluses on his palm, the strength in his grip. One more thing, Miho said, not releasing her hand. If we're going to convince Seoul that we're engaged, we need to be believable. Which means you'll need to move into the estate, attend family dinners, and play the part perfectly. I can act. Can you? Miho pulled her closer, his free hand settling on her waist. Because my enemies will be watching. One wrong move, one hint that this is fake, and they'll use it against us. Against you. Beverly's heart hammered, but she refused to back down. I'm a corporate lawyer. I've bluffed my way through million-dollar negotiations. I think I can handle pretending to like you. Liking me isn't the problem, Miho murmured, his lips dangerously close to her ear. The problem is making them believe you love me. That you'd die for me. That you're mine in every way that matters. Then I'll be convincing. Prove it. Beverly didn't think. She grabbed his collar and kissed him again, harder this time, angrier, pouring 3 years of betrayal and rage into the press of her lips. Miho responded immediately, his arms wrapping around her, lifting her slightly off the ground. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Miho's eyes were dark with something Beverly couldn't quite name. Convincing enough, she challenged. We'll see, Miho said. Because tomorrow, you're meeting my family. And if you think Marcus and Kendra were bad, wait until you meet the Kong clan. Beverly had faced hostile boardrooms, aggressive opposing counsel, and her father's disapproval. None of it prepared her for dinner with the Kong family. The dining room was traditional Korean style, with low tables and floor cushions, but the atmosphere was pure tension. Miho sat at the head of the table with Beverly to his right, and arranged around them were the most dangerous-looking people Beverly had ever seen. Everyone, Miho said in Korean, then switched to English for Beverly's benefit, this is Beverly Chen. My fiancée. The silence was deafening. Then an older woman, elegant, cold-eyed, dripping in diamonds, spoke. Your fiancé. Miho, you've been engaged before. 5 times, in fact. All business arrangements that ended badly. Why should we believe this one is different? Because I chose her, mother. Not you. Not the family. Me. Beverly's head snapped toward Miho. He'd been engaged 5 times. Miho's mother, Kang Soo-jin, turned her calculating gaze on Beverly. And what makes you special, Miss Chen? Are you wealthy? Connected? Or just another American gold digger who kissed my son in a bar? Beverly felt her temper flare. In Korean, she said, I'm a corporate lawyer who doesn't need your son's money. I have my own career, my own accomplishments, and enough self-respect not to tolerate being called a gold digger by someone who doesn't know me. The room went silent. Then a young man across the table, handsome, maybe mid-20s, with silver hair and a cocky smile, started laughing. Oh, I like her. She has teeth, young. Finally, someone interesting. This is my younger brother, Kang Juno, Miho said, looking amused. He's annoying but mostly harmless. Mostly, Juno agreed, winking at Beverly. And the rest? Beverly asked. Miho went around the table. His mother, Soo-jin, who controlled the family's legitimate businesses. His uncle, Kang Daesham, who handled security, which Beverly understood meant enforcement and violence. His cousin Kang Hyori, a stunning woman in her 30s who looked at Beverly like a bug she wanted to squash. So, Hyori said in perfect English, you're the woman from the video. The one who made Miho look weak by throwing herself at him in public. I made him look weak. Beverly shot back. Or did I make him look desired? Seems like perspective matters. Hyori's eyes narrowed. Careful, American. You don't know our world. Then teach me. Unless you're afraid I'll learn too quickly and outmaneuver you. Juno laughed again. Oh, this is going to be fun. Hyori, she just called you slow. Enough, Miho's mother said. Beverly, you speak Korean well for an American. Where did you learn? My mother was Korean. She died when I was 12, but she made sure I knew the language. Said I should be proud of both sides of my heritage. Something shifted in Sujin's expression, still cold, but less hostile. And your father? Chinese American. A federal judge in Chicago. Currently pretending I don't exist because I embarrassed the family. Ah, Sujin said. So you know what it means to disappoint powerful parents. Every day of my life, Beverly admitted. For the first time, Miho's mother smiled, small, but real. Perhaps you're not as weak as I thought. But understand this, Miss Chen, my son has enemies. Dangerous ones. If you're with him, even in pretense, you'll be a target. Can you handle that? Beverly thought of Marcus and Kendra, of the video going viral, of 3 dead bodies in a bar. I kissed a mafia boss for revenge, Mrs. Kong. I think I can handle dangerous. We'll see, Sujin said. Time reveals all truths. The rest of dinner was less hostile but still intense. Beverly learned that Miho had inherited the Kong family at 25 after his father was killed by the Park family, the same family Kendra belonged to. Wait, Beverly said, the pieces clicking together. Park Jin-young killed your father? Ordered the hit, yes, Miho said calmly, though his eyes were ice. 7 years ago. I've been waiting for the right moment to destroy him ever since. And I'm that moment. You're part of it. Your connection to Chen Enterprises, Marcus's engagement to Kendra, the timing, it's perfect. Beverly's phone buzzed. Another message from her father. Dad, I've heard you're staying with the Kong family. Have you lost your mind? That man is a criminal. Come home immediately before you destroy what's left of your reputation. She showed it to Miho. He wants me to come home. Will you? Beverly thought about it. Really thought about it. Going home meant admitting defeat, crawling back to Chicago with her tail between her legs, watching Marcus and Kendra live happily ever after while she nursed her wounds. Staying meant danger. But it also meant revenge. Power. Proving everyone wrong. No, she said. I'm staying. Miho's hand found hers under the table, squeezing gently. Good. Because tomorrow, we're going public. There's a charity gala at the Park Hotel. Half of Seoul's elite will be there. Including Marcus and Kendra. Especially them. Beverly smiled, sharp and dangerous. Then I'll need a dress. Something that makes my ex-boyfriend regret every decision he's ever made. Juno clapped his hands. Oh, I'm definitely coming to this. Hyung, can I be in charge of Beverly's styling? Please. Absolutely not, Miho said. Come on. I have excellent taste. You wear Gucci with Balenciaga. Your taste is chaos. While the brothers argued, Beverly caught Sujin watching her with an unreadable expression. You're not in love with my son, the older woman said quietly. Beverly froze. Don't lie. I've watched Miho pretend to be in love before. I know what it looks like. This isn't that. Does it matter? As long as we're convincing. It matters, Sujin said, because the longer you pretend, the harder it becomes to remember it's fake. And Miho, my son doesn't do anything halfway. If he's chosen you, even for revenge, part of him means it. You're wrong. This is just business. Sujin smiled sadly. Keep telling yourself that, child. But I've lived in this world for 40 years. I know how these stories end. The dress Juno picked out, despite everyone's objections, was devastating. Midnight blue silk that hugged every curve, with a slit up to Beverly's thigh and a back that plunged dangerously low. Paired with diamond earrings, borrowed from the family vault, Miho said, and her natural curls styled into an elegant updo. Beverly looked like power incarnate. You clean up well, Chen, Juno said approvingly. I look like I'm about to ruin lives. Perfect. That's exactly the vibe we want. Miho appeared in the doorway, and Beverly's breath caught. He wore a tailored tuxedo that made him look like a dangerous prince, all sharp lines and deadly grace. But it was the way he looked at her that made Beverly's stomach flip. Like she was the only person in the world. You're staring, Beverly said. You're stunning, Miho countered. If I'm staring, it's because I'm human. Pretty sure you're a devil, not a human. Can't I be both? He offered his arm. Ready to face Seoul? Ready to destroy my ex-boyfriend in front of everyone? Absolutely. The Park Hotel ballroom was a spectacle of wealth and power. Crystal chandeliers, champagne towers, women in designer gowns and men in expensive suits. Old money and new money mingling uncomfortably. And there, near the center of the room, were Marcus and Kendra. Marcus looked the same, handsome in a bland, corporate way, with his practiced smile and perfect hair. Kendra wore white tacky, in Beverly's opinion, for a woman who'd stolen someone's boyfriend and had her arm looped possessively through Marcus's. They hadn't seen Beverly yet. Nervous? Miho asked. Furious. There's a difference. Good. Use it. They made their entrance, and the room's energy shifted immediately. Whispers started, heads turned, and Beverly felt 100 eyes track their movement. Miho's hand settled possessively on her waist, pulling her close. To anyone watching, they looked like a couple desperately in love. Miho, a voice called out. Park Jin-young himself, Kendra's father, approaching with a fake smile. I didn't expect to see you here. Jin-young, Miho said coolly. Lovely event. I thought I'd bring my fiancé. Beverly, this is Park Jin-young. Jin-young, this is Beverly Chen. Chen. Jin-young's eyes sharpened. Any relation to Robert Chen of Chen Enterprises? My father, Beverly said smoothly. How interesting. My daughter is marrying a consultant from Chen Enterprises. Perhaps you know Marcus Huang. I do, Beverly said. Intimately, actually. We dated for 3 years before he decided to upgrade to your daughter. The temperature dropped 10 degrees. Jin-young's smile became strained. I see. Do you? Beverly continued, her lawyer voice cutting like glass. Because I find it fascinating that a chance romance between Marcus and Kendra coincided so perfectly with Chen Enterprises' expansion into Seoul. Almost like it was planned. Beverly, Miho murmured, warning in his voice, but his eyes were delighted. Mr. Park, Beverly said, smiling sweetly, tell me, when you arranged your daughter's marriage to my ex-boyfriend, did you consider how it would look? Or did you just see dollar signs? Jin-young's face turned red. How dare? She dares, Miho interrupted, his voice deadly soft, because she's with me now. And I protect what's mine. The claim should have bothered Beverly. Instead, it sent a thrill down her spine. That's when Marcus noticed them. His face went white. Then red. Then white again. Beverly, he stammered, approaching with Kendra trailing behind. What are you doing here? Attending a charity gala with my fiancé, Beverly said, holding up her left hand where a stunning diamond ring now sat. Miho had slipped it on in the car, Beverly hadn't even noticed the size, massive. Oh, did I forget to mention? Miho proposed. I said yes. Kendra gasped. You can't be serious. You've known him for what, 2 days? 3, actually. But when you know, you know. Beverly smiled. Rather like you and Marcus, I suppose. Although at least Miho and I are honest about our arrangement. Marcus's jaw clenched. This is insane. Beverly, you're making a huge mistake. That man is a criminal. And you're a lying, cheating bastard who used me to climb the corporate ladder, Beverly shot back. I'll take my chances with the criminal. Beverly, please, Kendra tried, her voice dripping with false concern. We never meant to hurt you. Marcus and I fell in love. Save it, Beverly snapped. I'm a lawyer, Kendra. I've seen the contracts, the merger documents, the timeline of your romance. You didn't fall in love. You secured a business deal. At least own it. Kendra's perfect facade cracked. You bitter bitch. Careful, Miho said, his voice like a blade. You're speaking to my fiancé. And I'm not as forgiving as Beverly. The threat hung in the air, crystal clear. Marcus pulled Kendra back. This isn't over, Beverly. You're right, Beverly agreed. It's not. But when it is, you'll wish you'd just been honest with me. As Marcus and Kendra retreated, Beverly realized her hands were shaking, not with fear, but with adrenaline. That, Juno said, appearing with champagne glasses, was spectacular. Beverly, you're my new favorite person. She was magnificent, Miho agreed, his dark eyes burning into hers. Though perhaps a bit reckless. Says the man who just threatened a business rival's daughter at a charity gala. I never make threats. Only promises. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of introductions, fake smiles, and whispered conversations. Beverly played her part perfectly, the devoted fiancée, the woman hopelessly in love with Kong Miho. But as the night wore on, she realized something terrifying. It was getting easier to pretend. Too easy. When Miho's hand found hers, it felt natural. When he whispered in her ear, she leaned in automatically. When he pulled her onto the dance floor and held her close, swaying to some romantic ballad, Beverly forgot they were acting. You're good at this, Miho murmured as they danced. At what? Lying. At being mine. Beverly's breath caught. It's fake, remember? 6 months and we're done. Of course. But Miho's arms tightened around her. 6 months. As they swayed, Beverly caught sight of Marcus watching them from across the room, his face twisted with jealousy and rage. Good, she thought. Let him burn. But when she looked back at Miho, saw the way he was watching her, like she was precious, dangerous, essential, Beverly wondered if she was playing with fire. And worse, if she even wanted to stop. The photograph appeared 3 days later. Beverly was in Miho's study, reviewing documents about Park Industries looking for legal weaknesses, as promised, when Juno burst in waving his phone. You're viral again, he announced gleefully. What? He shoved the phone in her face. There, trending #1 on Korean Twitter, was a photograph from the gala, Miho and Beverly dancing, his hand on her waist, her head on his shoulder, both of them looking at each other like nothing else existed. The caption read, Kong Miho's mystery fiancé, a love story or a scandal? 3 million shares, Juno said. Every news outlet in Seoul is trying to figure out who you are. Some have connected you to Judge Chen, others think you're a corporate spy, and my personal favorite theory is that you're an assassin sent to kill Miho but fell in love instead. That's ridiculous. Is it though? Because that photo looks pretty real, Bev. Beverly stared at the image. Juno was right, there was nothing fake about the way they looked at each other in that moment. It's just good acting, she muttered. Keep telling yourself that. Miho entered, looking grim. We have a problem. The photo? Beverly asked. Worse. Marcus has hired a private investigator. He's digging into your past, trying to find dirt to discredit you. Beverly's blood ran cold. My past is clean. I have nothing to hide. Everyone has something to hide, Miho said gently. Secrets. Mistakes. Things they're not proud of. Beverly thought of the miscarriage she'd had 2 years ago, Marcus's baby, lost at 8 weeks, a grief she buried deep because Marcus had barely cared. He'd been too busy with work to come to the hospital, had told her it was probably for the best anyway. She'd never told anyone. Not even Kendra. He can dig all he wants, Beverly said firmly. I'm not afraid of him. But that night, alone in the guest room Miho had given her luxurious, with a view of the gardens, Beverly's phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Beverly Chen. The voice was male, American, unfamiliar. I'm calling on behalf of Marcus Huang. He'd like to arrange a meeting. Privately. To discuss terms. Terms. For ending your association with Kong Miho and keeping certain information private. Beverly's hands clenched. What information? The miscarriage. The depression that followed. The medication you were on. Mr. Huang thought you'd prefer that information stayed private. In exchange, he's willing to forget the embarrassment you've caused him. Rage flooded through Beverly, white-hot and pure. Marcus was going to weaponize her grief. Her trauma. You tell Marcus, Beverly said, her voice deadly calm, that if he wants war, he'll get it. And unlike him, I don't bluff. She hung up, trembling with fury. A knock on her door. Beverly. Miho's voice. She opened it. He took one look at her face and stepped inside, closing the door behind him. What happened? Beverly told him everything, the call, the threat, the miscarriage. When she finished, Miho's expression was murderous. He's threatening you with your own pain. He's desperate. Good. Beverly. No, she cut him off. I'm done being the victim. Marcus wants to play dirty. Fine. We'll bury him. Miho studied her for a long moment. Then, there's something you should know. About my father's death. Beverly waited. Park Jin-young ordered the hit, Miho continued, but Marcus's company, Chen Enterprises, provided the financial records that made it possible. They exposed my father's business dealings, made him vulnerable. Marcus was the analyst who compiled that report. Beverly's world tilted. Marcus helped kill your father. He probably didn't know what the information would be used for. But yes. So this isn't just about business. It's personal. It's always been personal. Miho stepped closer. Which is why I need to know, are you prepared for how dark this might get? Because once we start, we can't stop. Marcus, Kendra, Park Jin-young, they'll fight back with everything they have. Beverly thought of the callous way Marcus had dismissed her miscarriage. The way Kendra had smiled while stealing her life. The way her father had disowned her with a single text. I'm ready, she said. Burn it all down. Miho's hand cupped her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. You're not what I expected, Beverly Chen. What did you expect? Someone weaker. Someone I could control. Disappointed. Fascinated. His eyes dropped to her lips. And that's infinitely more dangerous. The air between them crackled with tension. Beverly knew she should step back, remind him this was fake, maintain boundaries. Instead, she kissed him. Not for show this time. Not for revenge. Just because she wanted to. Miho responded immediately, backing her against the wall, his kiss deep and consuming and nothing like their public performances. This was raw, real, desperate. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Miho rested his forehead against hers. This is a bad idea, he whispered. Probably the worst, Beverly agreed. 6 months. 6 months. But neither of them moved away. The next morning, Beverly woke up alone. Miho had left sometime after midnight, both of them agreeing that actually sleeping together would complicate things too much to find a manila folder on her nightstand. Inside, a complete dossier on Marcus Huang's financial activities over the past 3 years. Offshore accounts. Suspicious transfers. Payments from Park Industries that didn't match any official consulting work. Oh, Marcus, Beverly murmured, a slow smile spreading across her face. You've been a very bad boy. She dressed quickly and found Miho in his study with Juno and Hyori. You found something, Miho said immediately, reading her expression. Beverly laid out the documents. Marcus has been embezzling from Chen Enterprises. Small amounts, carefully hidden, but consistent. He's been funneling money through Park Industries to mask the transfers. How much? Hyori asked. About $2 million over 3 years. Juno whistled. That's enough to destroy him. We leaked this to the SEC and... No, Beverly interrupted. Not yet. This is leverage, not a weapon. We hold it until the wedding. Why wait? Miho asked. Because, Beverly explained, her lawyer brain fully engaged, if we expose him now, he'll claim ignorance, blame subordinates, maybe even pin it on someone else. But if we wait until the wedding, until he's legally bound to Kendra, until both families have invested millions in the merger, then we detonate this bomb. It doesn't just destroy Marcus. It destroys the entire Parkshin alliance. Miho's smile was proud and predatory. You're ruthless. I love it. I learned from the best, Beverly shot back. Over the next few weeks, Beverly fell into a strange new routine. Days were spent reviewing corporate documents, building the case against Marcus piece by piece. Evenings were public appearances with Miho, dinners, galas, carefully orchestrated, candid photos that kept them trending. And nights. Nights were becoming complicated. They'd established a rule after that first kiss, no more physical intimacy unless necessary for the act. But necessary was becoming a very flexible definition. We should kiss now, Miho would say at a restaurant, in case someone's watching. We should hold hands, Beverly would suggest at a gallery opening, for authenticity. They were lying to themselves and they both knew it. The turning point came 3 weeks before Marcus and Kendra's wedding. Beverly was training with Miho. He'd kept his promise to teach her self-defense in the estate's private gym. She'd just successfully flipped him, a move she'd been working on for days, when he pulled her down with him, reversing their positions. Cheater, she gasped, pinned beneath him. In a real fight, there are no rules, Miho said. But he wasn't moving, and neither was she. This isn't a real fight. Isn't it? His eyes were dark, intense. Feels like we've been fighting something for weeks. Miho. Tell me you don't feel this. Tell me it's still just an act. Beverly couldn't. Because somewhere between the revenge plotting and the fake engagement and the late-night conversations, she'd started falling for him. Really falling. 6 months, she whispered. That was the deal. Fuck the deal, Miho said roughly, and kissed her. This time, they didn't stop. Beverly woke up in Miho's bed, sunlight streaming through the windows, and reality crashed down. She'd slept with him. Not for show, not for revenge, but because she wanted to. Because she was falling in love with a man she was supposed to leave in 6 months. Regretting it already? Miho asked from beside her, awake and watching her with an unreadable expression. Should I be? That's not an answer. Beverly sat up, pulling the sheet around herself. What are we doing, Miho? I think that's obvious. You know what I mean. This was supposed to be fake. Temporary. And now? Now I don't know what it is. Miho sat up too, his hand finding hers. Beverly, I've been engaged 5 times. All of them were arranged, strategic, emotionless. I never cared if they stayed or left. His dark eyes locked on hers. You're different. Somewhere along the way, this stopped being about revenge and started being about you. Beverly's heart hammered. I'm still leaving in 6 months. After we destroy Marcus and the Parks. Are you? Because it seems like you've built a life here. You work with Juno on investigations, you've impressed my mother, you're learning Korean culture from Hyori. When was the last time you even thought about Chicago? He was right. Beverly hadn't called her father in weeks. Hadn't missed her old apartment, her old job, her old life. My father. Disowned you for making your own choices. Do you really want to go back to living for his approval? No, Beverly admitted. But I can't stay here forever. This world, your world, it's not mine. It could be. Before Beverly could respond, Juno burst in without knocking, as usual, looking panicked. "We have a major problem. Get dressed and come to the study. Now." 5 minutes later, Beverly and Miho were staring at a laptop screen showing a news article. Kong Miho's fiancée, the woman who disappeared. The article detailed Beverly's past, her mother's death, her father's disappointment, her relationship with Marcus, even the miscarriage. How the hell did they find out about that? But the worst part was the headline underneath. Sources claim Beverly Chen is using Kong Miho to get revenge on ex-boyfriend Marcus Huang. "It's all fake," says anonymous source close to the couple. "Who leaked this?" Beverly demanded. "We're trying to find out," Hyrie said, typing furiously. But whoever it was had access to medical records, personal information. "It was Marcus," Beverly said flatly. "This is exactly what he threatened." "Or Kendra," Miho suggested. "She'd have access to information from when you were friends." Beverly's phone exploded with notifications. Messages from reporters, from old colleagues, from people she hadn't spoken to in years. And one from her father. "Dad, I warned you this would happen. Come home, Beverly. Before you're completely ruined." "No," Beverly said out loud. "No?" Miho asked. "No, I'm not running. Marcus wants me to look like a vindictive ex." "Fine. Let's give everyone a show they'll never forget." "What are you thinking?" Beverly smiled, sharp and dangerous. "We're going to the wedding. And we're going to destroy them in front of everyone." The wedding was everything you'd expect from a Park Chan merger: excessive, expensive, and cold. The venue was a historic palace, decorated with thousands of white roses and gold accents. 500 guests in designer clothes, worth collectively more than a small country's GDP. And at the center of it all, Marcus and Kendra, looking like the perfect couple. Beverly and Miho weren't officially invited, of course. They came anyway. Beverly wore red, a bold choice for a Korean wedding, where white and red were both considered controversial. But this dress was a statement, fitted, elegant, with traditional Korean embroidery done in gold thread. A perfect fusion of her two heritages. "Ready?" Miho asked as their car pulled up. "To ruin a wedding?" "Absolutely." They walked in during the ceremony, and the whispers started immediately. Marcus saw them and went pale. Kendra's eyes widened in fury. But Park Jin-young and Judge Chen, yes, Beverly's father had flown in for this circus, looked like they wanted to call security. "We should leave," someone whispered loudly. "No," Miho said, his voice carrying across the venue. "We'll stay. After all, we have a wedding gift." He nodded to Juno, who stepped forward with an envelope. "What is this?" Marcus demanded, his composure cracking. "Open it and see," Beverly suggested sweetly. With trembling hands, Marcus opened the envelope. Inside, copies of every embezzlement transaction, every fraudulent transfer, every crime he'd committed over 3 years. "What?" he started, but Beverly cut him off. $2 million, Marcus. That's what you stole from my father's company while pretending to be his trusted consultant. While proposing to the Park family's daughter. While building your perfect little empire on lies. The room erupted in chaos. "This is ridiculous." Kendra shrieked. "You're making this up." "Am I?" Beverly pulled out her phone, projecting images onto the venue screen, bank statements, transfer records, emails between Marcus and Park Industries discussing the arrangement. Judge Chen stood, his face purple with rage. "Marcus, what is the meaning of this?" "I can explain," Marcus started. "Can you also explain," Miho interrupted, "how you provided the financial records that led to my father's assassination 7 years ago? Records you compiled for Chen Enterprises, which were then sold to Park Jin-young, who used them to order a hit?" The room went deadly silent. "You told me," Miho continued, his voice like ice, "that you were just doing your job. That you didn't know what the information would be used for. But I have emails, Marcus. Emails between you and Park Jin-young discussing my father's removal in exchange for a position in the company and an engagement to his daughter. That's not, Marcus's voice broke. I never. You used me, Beverly said quietly, but her voice carried. You used my father's company. You used Kendra. And you helped murder an innocent man. For what? Money? Status? Kendra turned to her father. Daddy, tell them it's not true. But Park Jin-young said nothing, his silence damning. The authorities have been notified, Juno announced cheerfully. Fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy to commit murder, you're looking at serious prison time, Marcus. Both of you, actually. Security was already moving in, but not for Beverly and Miho. For Marcus and Park Jin-young. As they were led away in handcuffs, Marcus locked eyes with Beverly one last time. You destroyed everything, he said, his voice hollow. No, Beverly corrected. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone knew. 6 months. That was the deal Beverly and Miho had made. It had been exactly 6 months since that night in the bar, 6 months since a drunken kiss changed Beverly's life, 6 months since she became Kang Miho's fake fiancé. Marcus was in prison. Park Jin-young was under investigation. Chen Enterprises had severed all ties with the Park family and was suing Marcus for damages. Kendra had disappeared from public life entirely. Beverly had her revenge. The question was, what now? She stood in Miho's study, the same room where they'd made their original deal, staring at the engagement ring on her finger. You can take it off, Miho said from the doorway. The 6 months are up. You're free to go. Beverly turned to face him. Just like that. Just like that. I'll have Juno arrange your flight back to Chicago. Your father's been calling, apparently he wants to reconcile now that you've proven yourself. Of course he does. Beverly laughed bitterly. Now that I'm useful again. So. Are you going? Beverly looked at the man she'd spent 6 months with. The man who taught her to be strong, to fight back, to stop living for other people's approval. The man she'd fallen in love with despite every intention not to. What if I don't want to go? She asked quietly. Miho's eyes darkened. Don't play games, Beverly. 6 months was the deal. Screw the deal. Beverly snapped, pulling off the ring and slamming it on the desk. I'm tired of deals and arrangements and pretending. Do you want me to stay or not? It doesn't matter what I want. It's the only thing that matters. Beverly crossed to him, grabbing his collar. I love you, you idiot. I've been in love with you for months, and I'm tired of pretending it's fake. So tell me, do you want me to stay? Miho's composure cracked. Of course I want you to stay. But you deserve better than this world, better than me. I deserve to make my own choices, Beverly interrupted. And I choose you. I choose this life, this family, this chaos. If you'll have me. For real this time. For a long moment, Miho just stared at her. Then he was kissing her, desperate and deep, his hands in her hair. You're sure? He asked against her lips. Because once you're mine for real, I'm never letting you go. Promise? Promise. He slid the ring back on her finger, but this time, Beverly knew it meant something real. 1 year later. Beverly stood in the same palace where Marcus and Kendra's wedding had imploded, but this time, she was the bride. Her dress was custom, a fusion of Korean hanbok and Western wedding gown, with crimson and gold embroidery that represented both her heritages. Her father sat in the front row. They'd reconciled, slowly, painfully, but genuinely, next to Miho's mother, who'd become the mentor Beverly never knew she needed. Juno was Miho's best man, naturally, already crying before the ceremony even started. And Miho. Miho looked at Beverly like she was his entire world. Ready? Her father asked, offering his arm. More than ready. As Beverly walked down the aisle, she thought about the night in that bar, the desperate kiss that started everything, the revenge that became real love. She'd come to Seoul broken, betrayed, looking for a fresh start. She'd found so much more. "Dearly beloved," the officiant began, and Beverly squeezed Miho's hands. "No more deals," she whispered. "No more deals," he agreed. "Just us. Forever. Forever." And as they kissed, sealing promises that were finally, beautifully real, Beverly Chen, now Beverly Kong, knew she'd found exactly where she belonged. Not in Chicago, not in her father's shadow, not in Marcus's lies. Here. With the man who'd helped her become strong enough to choose her own destiny. With the mafia boss she'd kissed in a bar and fallen in love with despite every intention not to. Some love stories start with happily ever after. This one started with revenge and became something infinitely better. Real. Drop a red heart if you loved Beverly's journey from heartbreak to happiness. And comment below, Team Miho or Team Revenge. Don't forget to subscribe for more dark romance stories where strong women take back their power and find love in the most unexpected places.